The crowd expected a victory speech, but what they witnessed instead was a moment that shattered hearts across the world. Tears fell, voices trembled, and then one name changed everything. When Xiao Zhan said, "Wang is the reason I'm standing here today," millions froze. Because no one was ready for that truth. The lights were blinding that night. Almost too bright, as if the stage itself knew something unforgettable was about to unfold. At the prestigious 33rd Beijing College Student Film Festival, anticipation filled every corner of the hall. Cameras hovered, whispers floated, and hearts beat faster with every passing second. Then came the announcement. Best Actor. A pause. And then, his name. Xiao Zhan. The applause erupted instantly, echoing like a wave crashing against the walls. Fans watching from around the world felt it too. That electric surge of pride, of relief, of love. He stood up slowly, not rushed, not overly confident, just composed. But something about his expression felt different. His smile didn't fully reach his eyes. And as he walked toward the stage, there was a quiet heaviness in every step, as if he wasn't just carrying a trophy, but the weight of every moment that led him here. The journey had never been easy. Behind the global fame, behind the dazzling visuals and sold-out appearances, there were years of pressure, of silence, of rebuilding. And tonight, all of it seemed to rise to the surface at once. When he finally stood under the spotlight, holding that golden recognition in his hands, the room expected confidence. Instead, they saw vulnerability. He looked at the audience, then at the trophy, then down, and for a few seconds, he said nothing, not a single word. The silence stretched. Fans began to feel it, that strange tightening in the chest, that quiet instinct that something deeper was about to break through. And then, he took a breath, a shaky one, and the moment shifted forever. His voice, when it finally came out, was softer than anyone expected. Not the polished tone of a seasoned celebrity, but something more fragile, more human. He stopped. A pause that wasn't scripted. A pause that felt real. The audience leaned in, and then they saw it. His eyes glistening. The first tear didn't fall dramatically. It slipped quietly, almost unnoticed, except by those who were watching closely. And suddenly, everything changed. Because this wasn't just a speech anymore. This was a confession. He tried to continue, but his voice trembled again. The words struggled to come out, as if each one carried too much weight. "I didn't think I would be here." Another pause. His fingers tightened slightly around the microphone. The room fell into complete silence now. Even the cameras seemed to move more carefully, as if afraid to disturb the rawness of the moment. Fans watching the live stream began to react instantly. Comments flooded in. Why is he crying? Is he okay? This feels different. And it was different, because for the first time in a long time, Xiao Zhan wasn't speaking as a star. He was speaking as someone who had endured. Someone who had survived the pressure, the expectations, the unspoken battles. And as the seconds passed, it became clear, this speech wasn't just about winning. It was about remembering. Remembering the moments when everything almost fell apart. Remembering the people who stayed, or maybe the one person who mattered most. And just when the audience thought they understood the depth of his emotions, he said something that no one, absolutely no one, was prepared for. The air in the room felt heavier now. Every eye locked on him, every breath held. And then, he said it. "Wong is the reason I'm standing here today." Time stopped, not metaphorically. It truly felt like the world paused for a second, just long enough for those words to sink in. The name echoed louder than any applause. Wang Yibo. For a moment, no one reacted, because no one knew how to. This wasn't expected. This wasn't hinted. This wasn't part of any script. It was honest. Purely, undeniably honest. And then, like a wave crashing all at once, the reactions exploded. Gasps, whispers, tears. Fans watching online froze, replaying the moment over and over again, just to make sure they heard it right. Did he really say that? He mentioned Wong? This is real. But on that stage, there was no doubt. Xiao Zhan stood there, eyes red, voice unsteady but resolute. He didn't take it back. He didn't try to explain it away. Instead, he let the silence speak alongside him. Because sometimes, a single sentence carries more truth than 1,000 explanations. The connection between Xiao Zhan and Wang Yibo had always been something fans felt deeply, even without words. But tonight, there were words, and those words changed everything. He continued speaking, though his voice still carried the weight of emotion. He didn't go into details. He didn't tell a story, but somehow, every listener could feel one. A story of struggle, a story of growth, a story of someone who didn't walk alone. There was a quiet strength in the way he stood there, no longer hiding the tears, no longer holding back. And that honesty, that vulnerability became the most powerful moment of the night. Because in an industry built on perfection, on carefully crafted images and measured words, this was real, unfiltered, unprotected. Fans around the world began sharing clips instantly. Within minutes, the moment spread across platforms, transcending language barriers. Because emotion doesn't need translation. Some fans cried. Others simply stared at their screens, unable to process what they had just witnessed. This hurts in a beautiful way. I didn't expect this tonight. My heart can't take it. And maybe that's what made it unforgettable. It wasn't about headlines. It wasn't about speculation. It was about a moment where a person stood in front of the world and chose honesty over silence. As Xiao Zhan stepped away from the microphone, the applause returned, but it sounded different now. Softer, deeper, more like respect than celebration. Because everyone in that room knew they had just witnessed something rare, something that doesn't happen often in the spotlight, something real. When he walked off the stage, his eyes were still wet, but his expression had changed. There was a quiet calm now, as if something he had carried for so long had finally been released. And far beyond that hall, millions of fans sat in silence, holding on to that single sentence. Wong is the reason I'm standing here today. What did it truly mean? Was it gratitude? Was it history? Was it something deeper? Something words can't fully explain? No one can answer that, except him. But maybe that's not the point. Maybe the point is that for one brief moment, in a world filled with noise and expectations, someone chose to speak from the heart, and that honesty reached people in a way nothing else could. So now, as the lights fade and the echoes of that night slowly settle, one question remains. If you had been there, if you had heard those words in that silence, would your heart have stayed the same? Or would it have broken just a little too?